Hey there, and welcome to the Second Lunch Podcast. This is who cares what episode it is anymore? We're not counting. We have a lovely guest today. This is the second time I've done this with a guest where I've just biffed on the episode
completely
part.
belittled the presence of our guest.
Already shitting on your podcast. Welcome to the Second Lunch Podcast. My name is Chris Mejia with your other host here, Kolpy. We have a very special guest today, Chris Mejia. He's a stand-up comedian originally from Florida, correct?
Mm-hmm, that is correct. Well, technically, I was born in Puerto Rico, but I only lived there till I was 2, so I count Florida.
Okay. Counts as you're going to claim Florida.
So, actually, I'm from Puerto Rico. That's a very good point. It's funny because coming from Florida, everyone loves to shit on my home state justifiably. And so, because of that, I've always thought having state pride or pride of where you come from is stupid. And, when I moved here especially, people would always shit on Florida. And Florida, basically the way I treat it is it's dog shit. There's a reason why I wanted to move as far away as possible. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, it's like a little sibling to me. Like how you're like, I'm going to treat my little brother like shit. But no one gets to treat my little brother like shit.
You've got bail money saved up for Florida.
Except for me. Don't make fun of my little brother. Because you're not even making fun of him accurately. It's not like a love thing. It's like if you're going to make fun of, for example, with Florida, everyone's like, Florida man. And that's a very lazy. Mm-hmm. There's so many things about Florida you can make fun of. And you're just going to go with Florida man. So, the fact of, okay, I didn't know I was going to be put on the spot.
Let's just start Jacksonville. Punchline by itself.
Jacksonville, which is the geography number of miles wise, is one of the biggest cities.
Yeah, largest in the country.
And it's just all shit. It's just all dog shit. And then also the fact of the villages are there, which the villages is just a giant retirement community. Where if you didn't notice, years ago there was a giant STI outbreak because they're just all fucking there without condoms because they're like, I'm so close to the grave, why should I wrap it up? And chlamydia was just out there on the streets.
They had poor sex ed in the 50s when those folks were in school too. They weren't getting the proper chlamydia education.
I put the condom on the banana. What do you want?
It's in the kitchen. You can check it out.
It's also a weird state because the more north you get, the more southern it gets. So it's just a lot of people think Florida is just all beaches, and you're just I grew up around cow pastures and shit.
Yeah.
And just people, every single time I tell them, they're like, I thought it was all beaches. And it's if it was all beaches, I wouldn't have moved.
Yeah. Yeah.
But also, actually, no, I didn't like beaches when I was growing up because I was a chubby kid. So I was the shirt in the pool kid. So any body of water.
The ultimate deception.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Nobody knows.
What? That was going to be one of our Gucci or Greasy questions. We should just do it now that he brought it up. So Gucci or Greasy, it's a segment we do. Let's just do 2 today. Fuck it.
Okay.
Okay.
We'll say something like this is recurring, but basically my wife's family does unacceptable things with ketchup. Putting ketchup on Chinese food. Is it Gucci as in all good, or Greasy as in you cannot fucking do that?
Hey, Greasy. That's ketchup on Chinese food?
Clearly Greasy.
That's,
Greasy.
I mean...
It's appalling.
So I will say ketchup is something that everyone likes to shit on and stuff because of how basic it is. But it's also it's such a good role player.
Really a glue guy.
Yeah. It's just really, it's one of those players on the team that it doesn't get the job done it's a Jokic. It doesn't get the job done in a sexy way, but it gets the job done.
See, I thought you were going to go more Bobby Portis or something. More
Lamar
getting some rebounds, some tough boards for you.
Yeah. It's like that where it's it's no MVP. You're not, no kid's going to want to buy his jersey.
Really saving this meatloaf, you know?
Yeah. Nobody's like, the food was okay, but the ketchup to die for.
Also, shout out to Heinz, because Heinz had such a chokehold on the industry. If someone put a gun to my head and was name 2 other ketchup brands besides Heinz, I would just tell you to pull the trigger.
Right.
I'm not even gonna waste my time on that.
If Ashley brought home Hunts, I would be like, did you get fired? What happened? How did we end up with the knockoff brand?
I gotta say, ketchup and peanut butter are the 2 things where if Katie buys something off-brand, I'm like, what are we doing?
Yeah,
we got to draw the line somewhere. This is
you're trying too hard here.
Okay, so Gucci or Greasy, shirt in the pool? What do you think, Cole?
I gotta say greasy because as a fat kid, also, I just felt like I'd seen enough late night Girls Gone Wild commercials on Comedy Central with the white T-shirts, and I was like, this is gonna exacerbate my problems. You know, gonna see my 11-year-old pepperoni nipples through my shirt. Can't have this.
See, I was also a fat kid. Still am. And my whole thing has always been, you just got to rock it. Whatever's going on, you just got to fucking own it. And that's the only way out is through, right? You just gotta, it's okay. Everything's okay. Everything's going to work out. Take your shirt off. Why should I be ashamed of my body? I don't care. I would have stopped eating Twinkies if I gave a fuck.
The most confident man is not the man who has the six-pack and is tall and all that. It's the fat dude who embraces he's
Kevin
fat.
James, baby.
That, like, the dude who shows up to the barbecue already shirtless. That guy is the most. That is a level of confidence. I strive to be that, not the dudes who are buff and all of that. Because they're still insecure as fuck. Like the second they got a little bit of flab, but the fat dude, he's just like, I know who I am, and I'm gonna embrace it. Like, who gives a fuck?
I have a fun story about this. Do you remember Stephen Davis?
Maybe.
He's a comic from Wisconsin, and he doesn't do comedy anymore, but he was in Seattle for a little while. He lives in Madison now. He's telling me a story about one of his friends. Grew up going to this public pool in Madison during the summer. And there was this kid in the pool.
A public pool. I haven't been to that.
There's this kid in the pool who had his T-shirt on, and this great big fat guy jumps over him, does a cannonball, and when he comes up, the kid realizes it's Chris Farley.
What the fuck?
and Farley goes, "Wearing clothes in the pool, huh?" And then splashes him and swims away.
God damn it, we lost an angel.
I know.
Why does that feel oddly like a Norm Macdonald delivery rather than a Chris Farley? Close in the pool, huh?
It's funny too, because it's like everything's like, first off, when you wear the shirt in the pool, you think you're hiding something.
Right. That's the thing.
You think you're like, oh, no one knows. Like, everyone knows.
Nobody knows I'm fat. This doesn't show my curves perfectly.
All that water did was make your T-shirt damn near spandex.
Yeah, exactly. This is clinging to me now.
No one has ever been like, looked at someone with a shirt in the pool and went, damn, I want to fuck that. Like, if you just take your shirt off, people are like, okay, yeah, he's cute or whatever. But you wear a shirt in the pool, it doesn't matter what you look like.
You know what? I'm going to make an amendment to this. I think ginger should be allowed to. Because we're assuming this is all fat people, but I've seen some really skinny, pale-skinned folks just trying to not get a sunburn.
Well, they have to do that for safety of their own body.
Yeah,
they don't have the natural defenses against the sun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry,
yeah.
Gucci or Greasy being fat and wearing a shirt. What's the other Gucci or Greasy we had for today?
The other Gucci or Greasy that we had for today was sleeping in the Uber.
Ooh.
So.
Ooh, that's tough. That's tough because I don't think I actually. Okay, all right. Questions. When you say sleeping in the Uber,
Yeah, I don't understand how you need clarification on that.
Was this like a group of homies and we're Ubering home, or is it like I had a night out and I am Ubering home back to my place? Because there's a difference. If you're in a group together,
you might not get
and you
murdered.
Passed out, that's fine. It's
Right.
whatever.
Right.
But if you're alone sleeping in an Uber, that's a whole nother level.
No, you're inviting a lot of potential harm into your life.
Exactly.
For sure. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to say it's Greasy across the board. Don't fall asleep with your homies. And don't.
See, I have good friends who don't, when one of us falls asleep, no one is like,
We're
let's
too old
fuck
for
with
that.
him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just,
Well, no, I'm
Jesus
not
Christ.
saying don't fuck with them, but like, hey, dude, we're hanging out. Try not to fall asleep for fuck's sake.
Oh.
Well, that's valid.
I'm sorry. That's so wholesome to me. Of just like, hey man, can you not fall asleep? We want to spend time
We're
with
looking
you.
for quality time here.
All right, man. I could have been home. All right, but I decided to be out because I wanted to spend time with you because you mean a lot to me.
Yeah.
And
now
then
you're
gonna fall
sleeping
asleep.
at Jack in the Box.
That's so. awesome. I love it. It's just, I think it's what is it? Greasy or Gucci?
Yeah.
I think it's Gucci if you're in a group, because that's fine. Because you're drunk. It's a little nap time. Get a head start. All right. Just let everyone know. Hey, I've had enough. There's no second location.
Right.
We're not continuing the party when we get back to the crib. I'm very clear. I'm going to take my contacts out.
You take them to the crocodile, take me home.
Yes. Mr. Uber, I'm going to change the location on the app. I think if you're alone, it's Greasy because one, that's a safety hazard.
Yeah.
Especially if you're not a dude.
That is murder central. That's how you get murdered.
Anyone has a chance of getting murdered, but especially if you're not a dude, that's a safety hazard. Two, also, it's just like, I don't like being passed out around people I don't know.
Right.
That's too, I don't.
We're also not thinking about this from the Uber driver's perspective.
Oh, that's true.
Because as somebody who briefly drove Uber,
I also drove Uber for like a year.
Somebody passes out in the back of your car, that is stressful.
Yeah.
Because then you're really
it's a liability
counting on the right. Well, and the GPS getting you there, and when they fucking barf in your car.
Oh yeah, I've never
done that.
Did you have someone puke in your car?
I also had one guy. He just brought an open beer into the car, which I didn't see until he was getting out, and he had it in his shirt pocket. And he was bending over to pick up his drunk wife, and then it just spilled all over the seat. I was like, you fucking idiot.
It's almost like there's a reason people don't carry open beers in their pockets. There's an inherent
Especially
risk.
their shirt pockets.
Honestly, I'd be more upset that he was carrying it in such an irresponsible way than the fact that it was open. Like, if you're going to break the law, at least do it well.
Have some respect for your beer,
Yeah.
at least.
It's like when white collar crimes happen and they get arrested not because they did something bad, but just because they got caught.
Right.
Like, it's like the same thing. I'm just like, bro, if you're gonna drink in my car, like,
Did you have anything fun happen to you while you were driving Uber?
I'm like 80% sure a couple was in my backseat and the guy was fingering the girl while I was driving.
That was fun.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Yikes.
And the reason why I say it was quiet, they were talking and then they got quiet for too long.
Like they either both got food poisoning
All
at the
right,
same time.
hands
It
up.
wasn't-
Everybody show me your hands.
It wasn't like, oh, we're just quiet on this car ride. It wasn't that. Because they were very lovey-dovey.
Right.
And it wasn't like they were arguing or anything like that. It was just like they were talking and talking. I heard like a peck or two.
Yeah.
And then just like quiet. Like
Yeah.
the kind of quiet of you're trying to not, you're purposely trying not to make a noise quiet. And it pissed me the fuck off. Because like one, no one's going to get lucky in my car and I'm not involved. Call me selfish. Two,
Use my finger or I'm pulling over.
when I drive, I am the kind like you're supposed to. When you're changing lanes, I would turn and look. So
You're just changing lanes.
I just couldn't do that because then I was gonna look like a creep trying to like look at the action.
Oh, I'm the bad guy. Oh,
So I was pissed off that I couldn't like safely change lanes the way I was supposed to. I was so pissed off. I mean, they didn't leave like a mark or anything like that. So I guess it wasn't like.
I think that also happened to me one time, but the guy carried on the conversation.
that's smart. The
See, that's
silence
exactly.
thing.
Do that,
Yeah.
like, cause like I can't like.
And it was like really like
Fool me.
dumb question. So like, oh, you drive Uber? How? Like I could tell his brain. Like, it was just
Oh
spitting
yeah.
out.
Oh yeah. Big Blue Jays fan, huh?
Oh, I also like the yellow tree as the air freshener. Yeah, it's pretty
Big
great.
gulps, huh? All right, see you later.
How much longer are you driving? That was probably the weirdest thing I had.
Did you ever get offered Coke? I had somebody offer me Coke one time,
No.
and I said no. Which if I do Coke, my heart will explode. So it was just not an option. But I started thinking like that's really generous. That's like a really generous thing to say no to. So I just started making conversation with her as she was doing lines of Coke off the dashboard. It was weird.
That's
like-
wild that you can't wait that long.
Right?
Like anytime,
You can't get out of the fucking car and go do it. somewhere.
anytime, like whether it's like drugs or like when like back in COVID when dudes got caught jerking off on the Zoom. It's just like you really couldn't wait that long. Like you couldn't just 30 minutes.
Yeah.
And those guys who were jerking off on the Zoom makes you wonder if they were cranking it during meetings when you all were together.
Oh,
You know what I mean? Like this is not
Just carrying
your
on the
first rodeo.
conversation like the finger bang in the back seat. Oh, yeah. TPS reports.
I mean, yes. Have I during COVID was I watching porn in between meetings?
Hell
yes,
yeah. Duh,
of course,
obviously.
of course.
Obviously.
But like, I would, I will say there was right after that one dude famously got caught for it.
Jeffrey Toobin for CNN.
Yeah. I was in a meeting, and then as soon as it ended, and then I just forgot because I was literally gonna be like, I'm gonna take this meeting, and then I'm gonna go take a shower. So for some reason, I went to like pee, and then I was like, oh fuck, I have a meeting because I was checking my phone, and I realized like someone messaged me like, hey, you coming to this meeting? I was like, oh shit. So then I was like, well, I guess I'm not taking a shower right now. And I put on a shirt, but I was like bottomless. Like I didn't have anything. But it's, you
Like
know,
Winnie the Pooh.
chest up. Yeah, I was Winnie Poohing it. And I was chest up, like I had clothes on. And then as soon as the meeting was done, I just immediately stood up. But like the meeting was on Google Meet. So because that on Google
We're
Meet,
like Google Meet. Am I right? I'm always good for one really bad joke. Always one.
you're a father.
Yeah, you've graduated.
You're a father.
MEAT.
But if
those-
you've never used Google Meet, when you end the meeting, it'll bring you back to like this waiting room area where it'll show you your camera and stuff. So for a second, I thought I was still in the meeting and my camera was on. So I thought I didn't leave the meeting yet, and I just stood up and showed everyone my dick. And thankfully,
a crazy flex.
that wasn't it. But like, that's the thing. That's the thing where like when people purposely show their dicks to people, like that's fucked up. But they're usually doing it, and they're probably like, this. I need to present this to the world. And the world's like, no.
Yeah, we need more micro penises showing. It's always
Well, what I
some
was
guy
gonna say
with a
was
decent
just like
schlong.
how, because women will say that they have good tit days and bad tit days. We don't talk about enough how we have good dick days and bad dick
I've
days.
never heard of a bad tit day.
You've
What is
never
this?
heard of, well, just like sometimes women will be like, oh,
One
mine's
droops
like,
a little more than the other? Or?
yeah, or like I don't know, I don't have tits, so like I can't speak for people who have tits.
It's not
Next
my dick,
female
but it's
guest.
definitely my balls. Next female guest, yeah.
Make that awkward
But like dick
quickly.
wise, you got good dick days where you're like, I magically got another inch or two. That's pretty dope. And then you have some days where it's just like,
Not photogenic today. This is not my best
yeah,
work.
it's just like I haven't done my moisturizer. Like it's just, you know,
We got 3 or 4 more ounces yesterday. This is a pretty pathetic showing.
the dick is like I just started taking Zol off. I'm feeling weird.
Oh, God, that happened to me
I'm
one
mostly
time.
hard, but I can't come.
God damn it. That did happen to me one time. I got on antidepressants. Are you on anything fun?
No, I take ADHD medication and then an anxiety med as needed. But I do want to start taking antidepressants because,
You're depressed?
yeah.
reason.
That's a good
But
reason
see,
to take
because it's like I'll be depressed and then it goes away for a week and I gaslight myself into thinking, oh, I don't need anything. I'm good. That's what I fucking hate about the summers here, that when the sun finally comes out, you gaslight yourself into thinking, oh, my depression isn't because of me. It's because
Right.
of this weather.
Right.
And then
That's why I was sad for 10 months last year.
that's why I wanted to kill myself. It's because the sun wasn't outside. That's
Because
exactly
it was
what
48
was.
degrees, of course.
Yeah. And then that's why it's funny, because then when the Seattle summer happens and you're still sad, you're just like, oh, the problem has been me. Okay. All right. Cool. Dope. That's great. All right. I guess. All right. Fine. I'll see a therapist.
Yeah, exactly. I'll stop drinking, or at least I'll tell my therapist I'm doing that. Chris, should I move us into the Tinderella questions? here?
Yeah, we were supposed to do this at the beginning. We'll do it now.
All right. What's the worst movie you've ever seen?
Holy shit! I just saw it recently. Okay.
Oh, really?
I was in Nashville this past recently. It was like a college best friend group. We decided to have like a reunion trip, and they were obsessed with watching The Flash. I never gave any shits about seeing this movie, and not even on some like Marvel versus DC shit. I just never cared
Right.
about seeing. I'm already like Marvel and DC tuned out.
Yeah.
I there's only a few superhero movies now where I'm like, I give a fuck about this. Like the latest animated Spider-Man, I was like, I'm gonna go fucking see this. Like
That's a
when
good
that Matt
example.
Reeves Batman came out, I'm like, that shit looks cool. I'll watch that. But for everything else, I'm like, there's too much of it. I don't care anymore. They're all kind of the same movie anyways. I don't hate on it, but it's just more of like, I'm out.
Right.
I'm not following
Not your thing.
Yeah. So like it wasn't like some people are just like so much of a fanboy. They're like, I'm not gonna watch this DC movie. And it's just like if it looked good, I was gonna go see it. And like, but also the Flash was never interesting to me. Oh, he runs fast.
Yeah.
Which is funny. It's just like
yeah, let's see the Usain Bolt movie next.
it's
Yeah,
just well,
I'd
that's
watch
what I was
that.
gonna say.
Yeah,
That's what I
right.
was saying. Where it's just like they're like, all right, here's a superhero, a white guy who runs like a Jamaican. Like, it's just
Oh my God!
That is
take my money.
remarkable. That is remarkable.
so funny to me. when
Wait, you're
that's-
saying he's white and he's fast?
All right, a guy who runs fast and he's white. Holy shit! Okay, all right, okay. Put him in the Justice League.
I like to think that meeting they're running through, like, we need one more superhero. All right, we got one. We got an idea.
The Flash
He's
screams
fast.
they needed a fifth.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, yeah,
Next.
for sure.
Next.
Because
Wait. He's white.
there are
Gasps.
superpowers that are there where you're like, that is a power. That's not an improvement over something you can already do. Like
Right.
Nightcrawler can transfer like Cyclops. He's shooting lasers with his eyes. Running is something we can already
Yeah.
do. This is like like it's just you're doing it at an extremely high level. It's like what's his name? Hawkeye. Like you're just
Yeah.
really good at shooting arrows. I've
Yeah.
seen the Olympics.
I
you
would
know?
love if he was fast and white, but still couldn't jump. I think that would be a great twist.
It's a real Brian Scalabrine moment.
So like already I never gave a fuck about the Flash as a superhero, but I was like, you know what, I want to be like, I went into it like I want to be wrong, and this ends up being a good movie because like theoretically if DC can get its shit together, like it's good for everybody. We get more movies, and like I've always loved the DC superheroes more than the Marvel ones, so it's like even better. Like we want good movies, you don't want bad movies,
Right.
And then just like also with Ezra Miller being like such a weirdo and like grooming minors
criminal.
and kidnapping people and all of that shit, you're like the amount of defending and like shoving shit under the rug that DC has done. It's like y'all better hope like this movie better be good.
I didn't have to do this with Dark Knight. I didn't have to excuse this.
Like at least in Dark Knight the weirdo killed himself. Like he just like at least it was like that.
Yeah,
Like,
it's just an addiction problem.
but I went to go watch it, and that movie was truly, I don't really go see movies anymore. I don't really watch, I'm bad at watching movies. And like that movie legit was like one of the worst things I have ever seen.
What was so bad about it? Because I
Everything.
completely believe you. I'm just curious.
Everything. So like within the first
Well, for
5
starters, the plot is fast white guy.
Well,
Okay.
okay, so within the first 5 minutes, the movie just like every other superhero movie, the movie opens with the superhero in his life, and then he's like, "I'm gonna go save shit," and then you see him be in his element and all of that. But like basically, what happens? The Flash runs up to this thing. Batman was fighting some people, and then this hospital is about to collapse. So Batman's like, "I'm gonna go do this shit. You clean up my mess." And then in the hospital, like it's showing the hospital building about to crumble, but right before it does, it pans to the top floor of the hospital where there is a newborn wing of just a bunch of newborns in those fucking
these are high
in
stakes.
the-
Oh, they're in
Yeah.
incubators.
in
yeah.
the incubators, and for some reason there's only one nurse in this incubator room full of babies, and for some reason I guess the power went out in the building and the door doesn't open anymore, so she can't
Classic.
open the
This is
door
tough.
to save all the babies. So then the building starts to crumble and all of the babies slide out the
Wait,
window.
so then the building starts to crumble. I missed something.
Yeah,
No,
so
it was already crumbling. That's
support-
right,
Okay.
yeah.
the support for the building blows out where it starts to teeter,
Okay,
and the
okay,
babies slide out, and so does the nurse. And all of the nurse and all of the babies are falling down, to which the Flash is like, "Oh, I got to go do my job." So as he's running up, as the babies are falling, all of the babies individually are falling in a way where they're about to die a specific death. death. So like one baby, all of these scalpels just perfectly hang right in front of the baby.
Oh my
set
God.
to
This is getting a little more Final Destination.
set to fall on them. One baby lands perfectly between two debris that are about to collide with each other.
One is stepping out of an elevator as it's about to fall.
One is about to like be hit by an open flame that's like
Oh, at hospitals, this is common. I've seen this.
yeah. It's like shit like that. They all have their own Final Destination like death. And the Flash is like, I got to save them all. But like right before they do that, in the very beginning of the movie, he wears this watch because he breaks his metabolism so high and he burns so many calories, he constantly has to eat to make sure he can still be a person.
That's the element of realism that
Tell
they
me
decided
he
to
eats a baby.
introduce.
Well, so
He's like, what's
like
the
goes to a
glycemic index on this?
He's at a coffee shop, and the guy, he normally has this girl who always gives him his regular meal and it's always ready, but since it's a different guy, his meal's not ready, so he has low metabolism. So then I say that to say that when he goes to save the babies, he runs up and you think he's going to save the babies. He immediately blow past the baby to run to the falling vending machine to pull out snacks and eat snacks to recharge his metabolism, to which he then does like what are those machine called? It's a Rutenberg machine.
Oh, are you talking a Rube Goldberg machine?
Rube Goldberg machine.
Yeah.
What basically does that of saving all of the babies all at the same time. But then one baby that he saves, he grabs the baby and throws the baby into a microwave and closes the door so then the flame hits the microwave and doesn't hurt the baby.
See, I thought he was going to Terrare the baby. I was sure.
You're like, I'm saving all these babies, eating that one.
Yeah.
Whoa.
And he saves all the babies, have them all lined up perfectly on this hospital bed and the nurse. And as soon as I saw that, that was in the first 5 minutes, and I saw that, and I was like, "Oh, this movie's going to be shit."
And
And
there's
it
a
was-
vending machine joke in the first 3 minutes.
and it proceeded to be shit for 2 straight hours.
See, that's too much time for a
and it's
superhero
long.
movie.
Fuck.
Yeah, 95 minutes. Boom. Get me. in
It
and out of
was so bad. The CGI was incredibly bad, which was mind blowing. Where it's like the movie budget is over $200 million. How do you have bad CGI?
there. It is pretty insane.
And it was so much CGI where at that point you're like, just be animated. Like, just make an animated
Make it a
movie.
cartoon, yeah.
There's no, if you're going to be this much CGI, what is the point?
Right.
And it was just like, it was just so, basically the whole movie is about where the Flash is like, I want to rewind time so I can prevent my mom from being murdered. And he
Classic.
does that and changes literally
Don't we all?
everything in the universe and basically ruins the universe and destroys the multiverse, all because he wanted to save his mom. And it's just so funny where at the end of the movie, well, okay, I don't want to spoil it, so I'm not going to say that.
I'm not going to
Wait,
watch it.
at
You're
the end of
okay.
the movie, is he still fast?
Well, he technically, so basically the movie is he gets accidentally sent to a wrong timeline, and in that timeline his mom lived and he's with his younger self,
Oh
and
my
he
God.
loses his powers while his younger self gains the powers, and he has to teach his younger self how to be the Flash.
This is exhausting.
It's so like it's so fucking stupid.
When you said the movie started like any other superhero movie, I was going to make the dumb joke like, oh, Bruce Wayne's parents die. And then you tell me this guy's fucking mom dies. Like, it's the same.
In the beginning, he's like, hey, I could go back and save my mom. I can save your parents. And Bruce is just like, let him be dead. Like, he's just like, just don't.
Have you
It's
seen
not
who plays
worth
Bruce
it.
Wayne these days? That guy's chain smoking, all right? He's over it. That guy wants 3 fingers of scotch and a 10-hour nap.
So wait,
Ben Affleck, you could just see it on his face of just like, when are my scenes done?
Right.
I want to go home. Michael Keaton is the only good thing in that movie.
so wait, are you saying don't see it?
Don't even bother.
So mine, the worst, I guess it's a 2-part answer, because in terms of movies that were like hyped and then I thought were garbage, Garden State. Did you guys ever see that movie?
I never saw that. I
just thought
immediately
that
wrote that
movie
off
was
of that's some white
terrible.
people
Great
shit.
soundtrack. Oh, it's
That's-
absolutely.
It's absolutely
the
some
most
white people
fucking,
shit.
it's the most cracker fucking bullshit you'll ever
It
see in
is.
your life.
It is not good. But my least favorite movie ever is the musical Oklahoma, because when I was in 5th and 6th grade, we had the same music teacher, and she was always hungover. which meant we were
Sweet.
always watching a movie, and it was fucking always Oklahoma. It was all imagine being waterboarded with Oklahoma when the wind goes. Fuck me in the ass, dude. I hated that fucking movie.
I grew up a theater kid, so I appreciate musicals, but I do think Oklahoma is trash.
Every single day for 2 years.
Yeah, that's the thing is you can at least like work a Streetcar Named Desire in there or something at some point.
I don't know
Like, it
how
doesn't all
she
have to
did
be-
it. I don't know how she honestly.
Oh,
Because,
the alcohol.
Because that was just one period for me. She was watching it every day for 2 years for 6 periods.
Yeah.
That was all that was keeping her together.
That's
Holy fuck.
She was an alcoholic with a serious problem.
No, she was carrying around some sort of
What
cursed
subject was
amulet
she
that said she had to
supposed to-
watch it every day. The old cursed amulet for Oklahoma.
Classic.
What was the subject she was supposed to be teaching?
Music.
Oh,
She was
okay.
supposed to be teaching.
That
us
would have
to
been
sing
funny if she was
songs
chemistry.
and-
Like, it's just
Yeah, Washington State history. Oklahoma?
She's like, well, I was supposed to teach you about why slavery was bad, but here's
Oh,
Oklahoma again. Actually, Florida, if you want to get rid of critical race theory, just have these alcoholic teachers.
Yeah, exactly. Don't have the patience for that. They're just going to play some old fucking bullshit.
what do you think? What do you think is the worst movie?
There's two different ways. Like you mentioned the hype train and like what's the worst movie that's actually supposed to be good? In college, because my degree was a joke, I took a course called Trash Film, which is all about like cult cinema, deliberately bad, movies like The Room or something like that, or Cannibal Holocaust, these things that enter sort of a different realm of cult favorite, either because they're so over the top, like gory or whatever, or they're just bad, low budget or whatever. On that note, the worst movie I've ever seen is Pot Zombies, and it's not even close. And this is worst movie that's in that just shit realm. Not like, oh, I see what he was trying to do, but he biffed it like an M. Night
Worse than,
Shyamalan
like, Troll
movie.
2?
You're in the right track, but yes, it
Okay.
is worse because it's somehow lower budget than Troll 2, and like all the zombies. So the plot of the film is there is weed that's been contaminated with like radioactive zombie juice, as will happen. Fucking white flies get in your weed, and all of a sudden people are turning into zombies.
It
And
sounds like a movie Dare would make.
oh,
To try to scare kids into doing weed.
it's also a movie that's 71 minutes, which you already know. Like a movie that
You
short.
couldn't even get to 90.
Yeah, that's like Garfield Tale of Two Kitties. Like you're dealing with some really questionable length here, but
We ran out of plot.
what are the last 30 pages? Should I just drew some stuff? But the pot zombies, when they smoke it and become zombies, it's so low budget that the guys just become painted green and they have glowing eyes. It's a treat. It's got like a 2.1 on IMDb. The only reason I saw it was because in the early days of Comcast On Demand, they had all those free movies. You just go through and click on shit and be like, see what it's like. And Pot Zombies has resonated with me for a lifetime in a way that no great film ever could. That film has generated more thought for me than anything else.
And it made you go, fuck, I gotta try pot.
Those movies are always so funny to me because they're so bad, but yet, like, when you think about the production and all of that, like, someone like missed their son's t-ball game
Oh, absolutely.
because they had to work on this movie.
Some guy in an open mic was like, I'm working on this project.
Oh wait, someone has a joke about Patton Oswalt has a joke about that where he's talking about this movie Deathbed, the bed that eats people. And he's just like someone that's what it was. His joke is just like, someone had to miss their kid's thing, like recital or whatever, to work on this movie, and it destroyed that father-son relationship. And he's just like, he's gonna, when he finally sees Deathbed, the bed that eats people, he's gonna understand.
Chris, this is very Wisconsin, but there's a movie from the late 90s, a documentary called American Movie, and it's about a borderline alcoholic living in Wisconsin,
Fucking A.
trying to make his dream movie called Northwestern.
That's drinking, buddy.
But in order to fund it, he first needs to finish his movie Coven, but because he's from Wisconsin, he pronounces it Coven.
Oh.
And
The only more Wisconsin way would be he has to take all of his liquor bottles to the recycling center.
Oh, right.
Get
He
couple
next a
cents
10
for
cent.
him.
Yeah. I'm going to buy a
That's
new
how he
light
gets
with
his
this
funding.
2415.
I just want to say, in X, we through work, like I was like, they had like, here's some NFL tickets because we have a partnership with the NFL, NBC on NFL, so we have these tickets to all of these games. One of the games was Green Bay versus the Vikings on like January 3rd or 4th of 2022.
And they sent Florida man, huh? How cold were you, bud?
My ex who I was dating at the time, I sent the list of the games, and she was like, we should go to the Green Bay game. Like, to go to Lambeau Field, that's one of the most legendary, stadiums. Like, to go there, like, normally to go there, you have to be, like, really rich or have season tickets since, like, your fucking grandfather's grandfather. Like, we should go. And plus, to see Aaron Rodgers, who this was at the time before.
You turned into a kook.
Just keep going. Just keep going.
This was back when it was okay to say, hey, we should go see Aaron Rodgers. And I was so blindly in love that I was like, yeah, I'll go to Green Bay, Wisconsin. No offense. And
none taken.
Well, I mean, taken, but you're also right. So
we flew into Milwaukee, which I liked Milwaukee. And then
that's backwards.
He didn't get to East Milwaukee.
You see, in Milwaukee, they just don't like brown people.
Well, so
in Green Bay, they don't know that they don't like brown people. The
little bit of Milwaukee we went to seemed like the hip part of town.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Were you near the water, like where the art museum is?
It was like it seemed like it was like Gastown or Old Town or something like that. And so we got our rent-a-car and drove to Green Bay. And I understand.
There's a lot to see on that drive.
Well, we drove at night, so we couldn't see any of it.
You missed nothing.
Yeah. I hope you missed the deer.
I understand you're from Wisconsin, and I know the Packers mean so much to you. But when I truly, from the bottom of my heart, I mean this with every bone and fiber of my body. Where's the camera? Right there. Green Bay, Wisconsin is an absolute shithole. And I can say that because I come from Florida, which is like
we got
first
a shithole
ballot shithole.
We got a shithole Hall of Famer.
All right, that's first ballot right there. All right, it's unanimous voting. Florida's going in the Hall of Fame of shitholes.
Oh my God, I'd move there tomorrow. Honestly,
Green Bay, Wisconsin. The best way I could describe it to people is Green Bay is like if a college town didn't have a college.
Yep, 100%, 100%.
Like if an industry town didn't have an industry, like a coal mining town, but instead of coal mining,
they're just
it was a football team.
It's getting drunk in the parking lot, boys.
It's like, is it possible for a city to be built around the football team and there's no other identity to it?
Right.
Fuck that place. I got COVID. I dodged COVID for 2 whole years.
Oh, shocking. And you got it there.
Here's the thing. I wore a fucking mask the whole time I was there.
Well, that just proves masks don't work.
Wasn't there a point where Wisconsin had like the highest rate of contamination in the world? Jesus. It's like when New York had the worst air rate. They're like, oh, we're above Beijing. Don't know how we did that. Our air's chunky now. It was like the same type of deal.
It was when my ex and I first arrived. My ex, she was white, and we checked into the hotel, went to this bar that was right next door. And as soon as we walked in,
the music stopped, a record scratched.
We walk in.
Who's that boy?
We're wearing masks because we just came from the airport and all that. We literally just came and dropped our bags and left. And as soon as we walked in, it was almost like a record scratch because like everyone, as soon as we walked in, was eyeing us. And I'm
sure they thought you played for the Packers. I'm not even. That happens.
That's
way
very
more than
sweet.
You would
but if they saw my physique and thought
maybe he's a punter, I don't know.
No, he's the lightning back in the thunder lightning combo. This is the.
Maybe he's the guy who holds the ball for the kicker. I don't know.
No, more like they're like, is that Aaron Jones?
But we walked in and we looked at each other like, are they giving us dirty looks because we're an interracial couple or because we're wearing masks? And I was like, probably both.
Definitely both. Definitely. I mean, you realize, you may not know this, but we now twice have shit away Hall of Fame receivers that were arguably the best in the NFL in the prime of their career, Devontae Adams being the most recent.
Oh, yeah.
Don't need to get into that. But in the mid-'80s, James Lofton was with the Packers, literally all they had. I mean, they were dog shit in the 80s. And he started dating a white girl, and that didn't go over in town, and so they had to ship him off to Buffalo.
Also, is Buffalo down? Like,
if Buffalo's better than Green Bay, That's saying a lot.
So that's like
I feel like he went from bad to worse there.
I don't really know his stand up that well, but the one Shane Gillis joke that I know is about how, like, in America you have racism, but then right above it is football.
The Remember the Titans joke?
The Remember the Titans joke, where if you're listening, you don't know. I'm not going to tell the joke because just go look it up. And also, I don't want to butcher a joke. But basically, the joke is talking about how Remember the Titans, this small town overcame centuries of racism because the local football team went 4-0.
I mean, it's good reason to build bridges.
And I bring that up to say the fact that with how important, because sports in general, but especially football in America, we will sacrifice all morals. I don't care who you are. I don't care how you vote. I don't care how you are politically. I don't care where you live. Seattle's also the same way. Seattle likes to try to have this high horse. They're the same fucking way, where we will overlook bad actions and bad character if it means you're gonna win us shit.
Yeah, just look at the
Wait, are we talking
UW
about
football
Richard
team in
Sherman directly
2000
right
that
now?
won the Rose Bowl. They had guys with active warrants on game day. Seattle Times did a huge piece about it like 6 years after the fact. But it's like, how did this happen?
Yeah,
He doesn't look like he's behind bars to me.
Yeah. Have you seen him return a punt?
and like the fact that we care about football that much. And that Green Bay's like, we want to win at all costs. Our best players dating a white woman. We will go.
We want to win at most costs. All but one cost.
Like, just the idea of just interracial cream pie is so upsetting to you that you're like, I'm okay with not winning a Super Bowl.
In Green Bay, that's all you've got.
Right.
You know, this isn't a fan
I'd rather win with a white man or a black man who knows his
This isn't a New
place.
York Giants fan where he leaves and lives in New York. This is all you've got, man.
That's incredible to me. Oh my God, that really happened?
That really happened.
did
We're probably
really
going to
happen.
cut this, but I've been thinking about this a lot lately. This is the first time the Packers have ever had a black quarterback that was a starter.
Very cool.
Aside
Who's
from Seneca
the
Wallace,
quarterback
Jordan
now?
Love.
Love.
They drafted him in the first round a few years ago.
Where did he play for college?
Oh God, it was a small school, right? It
I
was.
want to say BYU, but I know it's not.
No, it was
No,
a
it's
D2.
Small like that. D2.
It was like a
Oh,
D2. Yeah, he
Jordan
was one of those
Love.
guys that had, one of those really high ceilings, but maybe didn't have the college track record
right.
to back
Patrick
up.
Mahomes ceiling, but
Jordan Love.
anyway, I wonder how that's going to go over in Green Bay.
I think that things have
Especially if
changed.
especially if he's bad.
I think things have changed since the gross days of
Utah
like James
State.
Lofton.
Utah,
Yeah,
there you go.
thank you. See, I knew it was something
Utah.
small.
That's why I've
State.
never-
Oh.
Okay.
Oh, shout out to
Aggies.
Utah State for
Like the
finding
fourth
a
Aggies.
black guy.
When you write, you write. That is a very good. That is a very good prop there.
That's
I really hope Green Bay is grown, but I've said this on the podcast before, so I'll say it quickly. First time I took him to Green Bay, I'm like, this is my place. Like, I love it there because I'm a big Packer fan and I've got a lot of great memories. But I was like, I want to show, because he's also a Packer fan. I was like, I want to show my buddy a good time. His first time in Green Bay. We get out of the car and we're in the parking lot. We're like, all right, we should pee before.
I
we
will
get-
say, not to interrupt, when I actually got to the game, incredible stadium. And
Yeah.
it was a great experience to be there.
glad to hear that
That
part,
being said,
yeah.
the game was like 12 degrees, and I fucking hated every second of it.
Not
but
surprising.
it was an experience of like, I got to go and see a game in Green Bay.
You know, I got engaged at Lambeau Field.
That adds up.
Most romantic place on earth.
This all checks out.
That adds up.
And
That's the Wisconsin version of he took me to Italy and proposed on the countryside.
well, it was funny because
Welcome to Scotty Venice.
because Katie took off her glove and it was like with wind chill like -10 or something, and I went to put the ring on her finger and I was like, we got to get this on quick and get your glove on even faster because it is about to swell and we're gonna have some problems.
Right.
I just remember my beer afterwards. Every time I take a sip, I could see exactly where my beer was before because there's a frozen line.
Jesus.
Yeah, Katie's tears froze.
But anyway, sorry, continue. You took him to Green Bay.
Oh yeah, and as soon we were like in line for the bathroom, and this drunk guy wanders up to us and just says the N-word within like 30 seconds, and I'm like, God damn it, Green Bay, you couldn't hold off for one fucking
Well, you
day.
know what?
The
even.
crazy
No,
thing, we didn't
I
even get out of our
appreciate-
parking spot, though. We could not have gotten any less far.
I appreciate he got straight to the point.
Oh my God.
He did not bury the lead, so to speak. He came
Said
right
that,
out.
and we're
firing.
like, he had a deadline. He was just like, I got 5 more. I need to head out.
Also, what does it say about Chris and I that he saw us and was like, "Pfft, that's our receptive audience.
It's 100% my forehead.
These crackers are down." No, they're not. Not at all.
But also at the same time, like, my family's from Philly. I'm a diehard Philly fan. Like, Philly's a shithole. I love that city. It's a fucking shithole.
Yeah,
And it's
okay.
also, it's one of those where it's like when people shit on Philly fans, like, yes, it's well deserved, but it's also like Philly fans exist to distract America from how shitty every other fan base is.
Oh yeah, you've got to have a
They're
a
the
number
scapegoat.
one. Yeah.
Philly is the scapegoat. But like, for example, for this recent NBA Finals, Miami Heat fans, atrocious.
Oh, way
the
worse.
worst people. But no one ever knows.
Because they don't exist until it's the playoffs.
And they
Exactly.
leave before the fourth quarters.
But
even
no one
over.
ever knows because everyone's too distracted by the fact that there's fucking Philly fans jerking off on the light poles that they climbed up.
I mean, there was a point.
I mean, where
it's-
else are
it's-
you going to
It's no longer.
in a Zoom meeting?
Well, I'm sorry, we didn't sign the Declaration of Independence for nothing.
It's no longer the case, but there was a period where the Philadelphia Eagles had the only courthouse under the stadium. Yeah. in
Shout out the
country.
Vet
So-
Stadium. Where they just like, it's literally, we're wasting too much time driving them from the stadium.
Yeah.
Let's just put it right there.
We got to
Yeah.
process you on the
The
spot.
thing I hate about Eagles fans is Philly fans is they're obnoxious. Eagles fans will like attack people. They threw batteries at Santa Claus. Like that is
Hold
criminal.
on. No.
Google
You're
it.
getting things mixed up.
Wikipedia it first.
You're getting things mixed up.
No,
They threw
no.
snowballs at Santa Claus. There was a few people, not the crowd, a few people who threw batteries at JD Drew at a Phillies game.
In fairness, he's a
No, I
bust.
thought this was like Santa in like the 70s.
No, he just got hit with
It was just snowballs.
Snowballs.
Okay.
But those
So
Philly
only
fans
a
got
few
arms.
Philly fans threw some batteries. But no, the thing, you know what? They're obnoxious.
I'm not
but
saying that was okay.
they're obnoxious.
I'm just saying.
trying to tell the facts.
Like
It
I
was
was
only
saying
a
earlier
couple
about Florida, if you're gonna shit on it accurately.
facts straight.
That's right.
They're invested though. Like
Oh,
the thing
yeah.
that drives me nuts about Mariners fans in particular, gone in the 7th inning.
Yeah.
Like I gotta get home to my fucking salad, or what the fuck could possibly be better than paying the end of the thing you came to see?
That's one
Drives me
thing where,
nuts.
as a
Yeah,
Philly
but see,
fan,
stop selling liquor. Oh, sorry.
yes, they're obnoxious and all that, but one, what I like about being a Philly fan is that I am not scared of any fan base except for my own fan base.
Right.
Two, you will never have to worry about Philadelphia fans being bandwagoners because they would rather. Like if they don't show up to the games, it's because that team is so dog shit. But they've been dog shit for so long.
Well, but between like all the franchises, I mean, there's not enough of a legacy of like success for people to be bandwagoners. Like you look at
Yeah.
the Sixers, you look at the Phillies, look at the Eagles, and yeah, like in my lifetime, I've seen both the Eagles and the Phillies win titles, but I've also seen a lot of bad seasons, particularly from the
Yeah.
Phillies. Like,
And then
Those people are
also,
dedicated.
it's
I
like
hate the Phillies
they're
more
so
than any of them.
dedicated where it's just like that's what I like. Where like being a Philly fan, when I say I'm a Philly fan, no one can ever tell me, "Oh, you're a bandwagon." Like they know, they're like, no one chooses
yeah,
to be.
the-
Every
all the
year
Flyers
Philly
success.
does it. Every year Philly does it. Most of that season, you're like, "There's no fucking way."
right.
And then out of nowhere they do. Like the year that the Eagles won their Super Bowl.
Oh, insane.
That whole season, I'm like,
Big
I didn't
Dick
even
Nick.
celebrate. I didn't even enjoy that season because the whole time everyone was like, they look like they're gonna do it. I'm like, no, they're gonna fucking blow it.
Well, and even in
just
like the
watch.
NFC
and then
title game,
when they finally won it, I had to fight every urge to burn this city to the ground.
Starts crying and Donovan McNabb.
I literally cried.
It's amazing. It's amazing how those sort of curses need to be buried, though. Like the Cubs need to come back from 3-1, or like the Red Sox come back from 3-0, or in that case, it's not like a comeback, but it's you have to win with a backup against
Yeah.
Tom Brady.
Yeah.
In order to end 50 years of the Eagles not winning
Tell you what,
it.
man,
Like,
there's
wow.
something I like about the Eagles. I like the Sixers too, and the Flyers, but really can't stand the Phillies. If I could erase any person from sports history other than the entire St. Louis Cardinals franchise, it would be Bobby Abreu.
Really?
I fucking
Really?
hate. He was so annoying, and
What about his good a home run
Well,
derby?
for
then?
starters, he just looks like a chef. I don't even know how to make that make sense. He just looks like he's a chef. You know how Pau Gasol kind of looks like a therapist? That's the same way Bobby Abreu looked like a chef.
I always pictured Pau Gasol driving me through like Eastern Europe.
Okay, is that
He's
much
like
better?
my tour guide.
It's still kind of a therapist.
That's okay. Okay, I'll give it to you.
God,
Oh,
Jake
yeah.
fucking pulls him. That guy is making you the worst chicken something you've ever had.
Yeah.
Fuck, I hated Bobby
He
Abreu.
looks like a youth, not a youth. He looks like a church pastor who got jailed for embezzlement.
Yep. Yeah, that guy's definitely
wow,
serving.
and a chef, really well rounded.
He's definitely
Or
serving 16 months.
He quote unquote respectfully resigns because he got caught having an affair.
Can't fuck a ball girl, Bobby. So who's your most, if you could erase it, this was your phrasing, erase any athlete from existence?
Ooh, that's because there's a lot of people I with a burning
Richard
passion
Sherman,
hate.
Draymond Green.
Chris, this isn't your turn.
Sorry. I'm just
man,
giving
that's-
examples.
That's a really good question and really tough because there's people who I hate, but I don't want them to disappear because I get a lot of joy from seeing them experience anguish.
Yeah, Tom Brady's one of those for me.
Tom
I gotta
Brady is
have
one of those.
him.
The fact that man, instead of just retiring with a Super Bowl with the Bucks and ending on a high note, he decided I'm gonna ruin my fucking marriage.
But that's who he has to be. That's who he has to be. For him to do that any other way would be almost un-Tom Brady. He said he was going to do it until he started to suck. He fucking lived up to it, and I love it so much.
That season, we all thought he was gonna retire. It was so funny because I forget who they played in the playoffs, but like you could tell.
it was the Rams. They
it was
almost
the
came
Rams,
back.
Yes. So when they were playing the Rams, you can tell the NFL, like, sure, yes, Tom Brady, one of the best to play it, whatever, blah, 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 who fucking eat my ass. Like, as good as he's been and he was clutch when he needed to be, I don't give a fuck who you are. He has had the most blessings from officiation and all that. Like,
Tuck rule.
there's like, for
Tuck rule's a good
example,
one.
that Jags game, the AFC Championship where they went to the Super Bowl and then played the Eagles. I don't give a fuck. That shit was fucking.
I don't remember the call in that one. What was the?
It was just such a bullshit call where to defend that was just so.
Oh,
Oh, okay.
Hot Jake, go ahead. Get on.
But
get on
like,
the mic. Tell the people.
anyways, so like I say all of that to say that game against the Rams, it felt very much like John. Is it John? No, not John Gruden. That's
John
a
Wayne
coach.
Gacy.
Who's the fucking commissioner? Roger Goodell.
Yeah.
Made the call of like, we're not protecting our pretty boy anymore. His era is over because he got sacked, which rarely happens for Tom Brady. And he got sacked, and you like he got up and you saw on his face of like, what the fuck?
How did
Yeah.
that happen to me?
And just the ref didn't do anything, and you could just see of like, yeah,
Suck it, nerd.
yeah.
Avocado ice cream, that bitch.
Welcome to what the rest of the fucking league feels like.
yeah.
You're
they-
no longer protected, pretty boy. And in
Fucked
that
by the long dick of the league.
Yeah. He's showing like every weekend Cam Newton gets obliterated even when he's in the pocket. Like I understand when he's on the run, but then Tom Brady gets like taken down by one knee and they're like, hit him below the knees. Okay,
and that's
he
what
didn't,
I
like,
mean. There was a
drive.
lot of shit like that of like, okay, you're very like I believe all sports are rigged to a degree. You still have to make that throw. You still have to make that catch.
Oh,
you still have to
absolutely.
make that shot.
He is that guy.
But I do think, like through officiation and other things, they will purposely steer certain teams and stuff because that's going to make them the most money, get the most ratings, which then leads to the most ad dollars and all of that shit. That being said, I'm not saying it's completely rigged where they choose who wins or whatever, but I think it's like if they can steer or like help, they will.
Yeah.
But it's still ultimately decided by the athletes and all of that shit.
Yeah, Prime Kobe in LA would be a good example of like you're a superstar and you're in a massive market.
Yeah.
They're probably going to give you the benefit of the doubt on calls.
Yeah.
Like they're going to rig it for you to your point,
Right.
but against the Blazers, yeah, you're going to get against the Kings, yeah,
Well,
they're going to
yeah,
get more
Kobe
calls.
also researched where the officials were at any given time on the court so he could go and
draw those calls.
Yeah,
Yeah.
or get away.
Well,
Well,
with
that
it.
was Kobe's one of those things where it's like, sure, they did that stuff, but also Kobe is such a sociopath, competitive person that he was gonna do that work to make sure he can
Right.
get away with shit. But yeah, fuck Tom Brady. I don't remember where I was going with that, but
Well, if you could erase.
Yeah, you got to
anyone.
erase.
oh,
an
if I could
athlete.
erase anyone, oh my god, I say this as a diehard Philly fan, and as someone who I wasn't into. Oh, okay, I got two answers. So first and foremost, let me get Carson Wentz out of my system. Let me get it out of my system. Carson Wentz, you fucking redhead motherfucker. I pray
I hope you get the worst sunburn.
every morning when I wake up and I go to sleep, I have reinvigorated my faith in Christ to pray to whatever higher deity that exists that not only do you suffer the most painful and anguish-filled life, that when you die, which I will drop whatever I'm doing the 5 first class to go to your funeral and take a shit on your grave. I pray that I don't care if heaven exists. I just want hell to exist so then I can go. And once you die, I will kill myself to guarantee I get sent to hell, because according to the Bible rules, you kill yourself, you go to hell.
Chris came and researched.
I will make sure that I go to hell immediately so I can watch you burn for the rest of the. I will endure the flames of hell just to watch you also burn in hell.
See, and you thought I was bad because I wanted Jimmy Butler's plane to crash.
True.
This is.
True. Chris is over here telling us that he's going to be surfing on the Lake of Fire watching.
I say ditto whatever he says about Wentz about Aaron Rodgers.
Defended that fucking Prince Harry ripoff bum for years.
That's really
coming up with excuses to defend that fucking man just for him to come out as fraud. No one.
He got Andy Reid fired.
One, Nick Foles has a bigger dick than you.
Yep.
And there's a
Big dick
reason
Nick.
why you lost to your position. And the amount of joy I have to the fact that not only did Carson Wentz lose his starting position, but he lost it to a black QB who, shout out to Jalen Hurts. You are the truth. You're the guy.
Yeah, he's actually good.
Fuck you, Carson Wentz.
Unlike Carson.
I hate you the way Americans hated Osama bin Laden.
I don't even know if I can answer this question now. That's a high peak to come
Yeah, you
from.
can't follow
The
that.
number two
Fucking
person who I was
terrorizer,
originally going to
good luck.
say, growing up, like I wasn't into sports, and then college football got me into sports, and then I became a Philadelphia fan, and then I wanted to get into basketball. I was like, well, I'm already a Philadelphia fan. Let me join the Sixers. Sixers were the lowest of their tanking era at
Right.
that time.
Fully in the process.
But I was like, perfect. No expectations. I don't have to have hope. I can just watch basketball, have fun. And then obviously they started to slowly get better, and then that's where expectations started to set in. So I've been following this team since I distinctly, I even on Facebook Memories saw recently when I posted that, like, oh, the Sixers in the next few years are going to go to a playoff game, and when they do, I'm going to burn this city to the ground. I'm so excited. And then they did, and I was so happy.
And Philadelphia does not exist.
That
any
being
longer.
said,
Ben Simmons.
to Mr. Benef Simmons. Everything I said about Carson Wentz, I want you to times that by 10. I am not a violent dude. I do not believe you should put your hands on someone for any reason other than
Ben
to
Simmons.
literally defend yourself. If I saw Ben Simmons on the street, I won't even say a word. I wouldn't even try. I will.
How
in
tall
fact,
is that
no,
guy? That'd be
no.
bold. Like,
In
this
fact-
is a big
in
fella.
fact- In fact, I will. I'm not even going to sucker punch him. I want to get his attention to see me, and I want him to see the punch coming.
I'd go straight for the balls.
I
Yeah,
hate
Straight for
They're
him.
basically
Ben's-
chin level for me. So.
just like how I defended Carson. I defended Ben Simmons for longer. I defended that fucking bum. I defended that bum the same way when you have a homie who's dating a toxic dude, and they're just like, oh no, but no, he's nice to me and all that. And then when they finally break up, he's like, I can't believe I fucking let that man nut inside me.
He
all
doesn't
of this
shoot the ball in the
That's
fucking
how I fucking in the playoff series, no points. You didn't even attempt to bat.
We're doing our yelling bits.
I'm not doing a bit.
Not a bit.
I
Very real.
literally get riled up every time Someone brings up Ben Simmons. Ben Simmons is proof to me that being a sports fan is a mental illness because I have been enjoying my time with you two. And now I am literally heated.
This is how I feel about Aaron Rodgers, who I would have erased if it wasn't for one Super Bowl.
That blows my mind.
I hate
all of those
Aaron
years,
Rodgers
one Super Bowl.
fucking much. I can't even describe it.
That's hilarious.
If I
to
could
me.
see anybody get slowly run over by a dump truck, it would be Aaron Rodgers, and I hope his head's at the end and it pops.
Okay, since we're almost on time, I do need to answer this. I also have somebody that I despise that I've got to get out there.
Fuck you,
for
Ben
me, it's
Simmons.
Conor McGregor. No doubt, Conor McGregor.
Good choice.
Not only is he a rapist piece of shit prick, but he held 2 divisions hostage with the belt for, like, in the fight game. If you're a fan of a weight class, you get to see like 3 Super Bowls a year. That's the fun thing. You get to see your title fights. Not if McGregor holds a belt. He just holds it. The man has not won a ranked fight since the Obama administration, and yet I still hear about this fucking asshole on a weekly basis. 7 fucking years. I went to Vegas, and everyone there, so many people had flown from Ireland to watch him box Floyd Mayweather.
Oh, yeah.
And they had double the amount of police on duty because the shit talking was getting thick out there. And you could tell the Irish folks because they had to wear their shirts in the pool and stuff. But
Callback.
and they're like wearing Irish flags around and just talking to anybody that's clearly American, which basically means visibly not white, because to be Irish is to be white. And as soon as you see a person of color, you're like clearly American if you come from across the pond. So all these guys wearing Irish flags, and they're doing like the ole, ole, ole chant through the first couple rounds where McGregor's actually doing well. Mayweather wins. We're the only people rooting for that illiterate piece of shit. Both guys, bad people. Both guys, not good folks.
Truly the definition of pick your poison.
Yeah. Who are you rooting to get the most brain damage?
Do you want the illiterate abuser or the literate abuser?
Right. You want domestic
The more
abuser
literate
or like
abuser.
sex offender? Yeah. But when that started to go down, my friends started doing the ole, ole chant as McGregor's getting knocked out, and I was like, we got to get the fuck out of this Dave and Buster's. We've spent too much time in Henderson, Nevada. But the next day, all the Americans, I don't know where they had them because I didn't see them until the morning after the fight. They've got their American flags out now. Like they had seen Irish flags all weekend.
Love it.
But yeah, it was the most tense and uncomfortable I've been in Las Vegas in my life. It was
Saying a lot.
interesting.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. But I think we're up on time. We got through about a third of our agenda, Chris.
Yeah, we did. This happens. I had a feeling this might happen, but
Had a
I'm
great
really
time.
good at derailing.
yeah, no, yeah, tangents are good. No, I prefer it. Chris, you got anything coming up? Anything you want to? This is going to come out in about 2 weeks. So.
Yeah, a week and a half.
yes.
So if you got any shows like mid to late July or anything, definitely promote those.
Yeah, so the
Or you should
show
say
that I
co-
co-run, Good Comedy, we're having our next show on July 16th at Showboat, which is formerly known as Bad Jimmy's Brewery. Come out to that. We're having the homie who's super, super funny, Shane Brendan, close out the show. Shane, you've seen on Don't Tell. And also was Portland's funniest person last year. Just in case if this is in time, I'm going to be doing Leave Your Troubles at the Door at the Capitol Hill Comedy / Bar on the 12th. I'll be at Laughs on the 13th. I'll be closing out the Blackout Show at Olmsted on July 27th. And I'm going to be opening for Monroe Martin the 28th and the 29th in July at Last Comedy Club. Also, you should, if you happen to like reality TV, more specifically The Bachelor, me and my homie Mike Rosa, comic out of Canada, have a podcast called We Didn't Get a Rose that you should check out. We have great comedians like Mia Jackson. We've had Kyle Kinane on. We've had other people who I can't remember. I have to pee really bad, so my brain's fried.
Me too.
Until the meantime, follow me at Chris Mejia Comedy on Instagram and TikTok. At Topher Mejia, Topher Mejia on Twitter and Twitch. You should follow me on Twitch, stream games, and then I tier rank how bangable fictional characters are. And that's it. Go Birds.
Hell yeah.
Thank
Do you need me
guys.
for the rest of this? I really have
No,
to
go
pee.
ahead. Go crazy.
I'm going to go
pee.
pee.
I'll wrap it up. Thank you guys for listening, and make sure to follow Chris on social media, us as well, at Second Lunch Pod, pretty much every place. We got koozies, stickers on sale, all that good stuff. Whatever, just give us your money. $1.06.
$1.06, baby.